If you decided to start a garden during the pandemic like me, or maybe you just have extra herbs that you didn't use, then this video is for you. Here are 10 easy ways to use fresh basil. Starting with mint basil ice cubes, we're going to want to wash the leaves and then rip or chop them up like this. Then we're going to add them into an ice cube tray and pour water over it, as I'm sure you've made ice cubes before. If you don't have any mint, using just basil is fine as well. Pop the ice cube tray in the freezer for a couple of hours, and once they're frozen, there are a few different ways to enjoy these basil mint ice cubes. The first being basil mint water. Of course, just pop these in a glass of water and you have a nice refreshing cold drink. Basil and mint pair really well with lemonade, and so for this I just juiced a fresh lemon, added some sugar, and finally our basil mint ice cubes. For all of these drinks using the ice cubes, I recommend using a straw so you don't get the leaves in your mouth when you drink it. To make iced herbal tea, I'm going to use peppermint tea, although feel free to choose whatever you'd like. And I'm going to pour in some hot water and steep the tea for about 2 minutes or so. If you steep it for too long, it can get bitter. Once the tea is done steeping, I'm going to dilute it with some water. At this point, you can also add sugar or honey if you'd like, although it is completely optional. Let this cool in the fridge for a few hours before pouring it over your basil mint ice cubes. One final way to use these ice cubes is in a smoothie. Basil and mint can really add an extra kick of flavor to any kind of berry smoothie. Also, sorry about the lighting in these clips, I'm not really sure what happened there. In my smoothie, I added blueberries, mango chunks, orange juice, and basil and mint ice cubes. And this is a really healthy and nutritious way to use up your fresh herbs. To make this 5-minute basil vinaigrette salad dressing, you're going to need about 3/4 cups of basil, 1 clove of garlic, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil of your choice, a tablespoon and a half of apple cider vinegar, and some salt and pepper. And so to start, we're going to finely chop the basil and the garlic, and then mix it together in a bowl. Then add whatever vegetable oil you'd like. I used avocado oil. Mix it all together and then add some apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, just regular white vinegar works as well. Add a dash of salt, dash of pepper, and you have a really tasty salad dressing to enjoy with any type of salad, and it works especially well with tomatoes. Adding garlic and herbs to your butter is a great way to jazz up your toast in the morning. For this recipe, we'll need 1 clove of garlic, a handful of basil, some green onion, softened butter, and the juice from half of a lemon. A food processor is ideal for this recipe. However, if you're like me and you don't have one, finely chopping the garlic, the basil, and the onion works as well. In an airtight container, this butter will store in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Fresh basil can be used as a garnish for egg and avocado toast, for soups, or in pasta. There are countless ways to use basil as a garnish, including Marguerita pizza. For this recipe, I just took some flatbread meant for pizza, spread some basil and tomato sauce on it, followed by cheese and tomatoes. Top it off with some fresh or dried basil, and you have a really delicious homemade pizza. Last but not least, if you have extra basil, it's easy to dry it up and save it for later. To do so, we're going to start by washing the leaves of the basil, and then set your oven to the lowest temperature that it can go. For me, it was 170 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to put our washed and dried basil on the cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, and then pop this in the oven for 2 hours. If your basil still looks a little wet after 2 hours, put it back in the oven for up to 4 hours until it looks like this. The basil leaves should be shriveled up and should crumble very easily, like so. Drying out your own basil is an easy way to save money on herbs that you would already buy dried out. and it only takes a couple hours in the oven. So there you have 10 easy ways to use up fresh basil. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.